Welcome back to Blue Collar Speed and Repair, and what's probably going to be the last video on our 65 C10, at least for a while. We're very close to giving this back to her, getting it finished up so she can go enjoy it. And the last thing we got to do is do something about this nasty bed floor. All right, wood bed floor. First step is getting all this crap out of here. We're going to put new kit in from LMC. The bed is not in that great a shape, obviously. Well, the wood, obviously, but you can see the wheelhouses have some damage. There's damage up along all the front edges and the back edges and all that. So I don't know how well, as far as the outside edges, will bolt in. But we will do our best, and whatever happens is going to happen. We ended up going with a kit from LMC. This is oak, and it's going to look really good, I think. Continuing with the dark vehicle and the matte finish, we're going to go with a combination of Jacobine, and this is ebony. So this is really dark, almost black. And we mixed this up before on a piece of furniture. It turned out really good. The Jacobine has a slight red tint to it. And then we just basically just darken it up with that. I think it's going to look really good on this thing. So we're going to stain all of this. And then the rails. So basically how this works is the wood floor lays down and these rails go in between and get bolted down. There's a little bit of wiggle movement so we can adjust it. You can get these with like chrome strips and all that stuff. These are bare metal. And so we're going to end up painting these with just a standard black. The unfortunate part about that is the wood's going to be dark. The slats are going to be dark. All the hardware is super shiny. So I think we're going to clean all these up, poke a million holes in that cardboard, and paint the head of all these 2,000 frickin' bolts. It's going to be a good time. I think mostly this is all going to be prep work. Actually putting it in, I don't think is going to be that big of a deal. Other than we'll probably have to drill a bunch of holes, but let's see how it goes. I think first step, we'll probably get a coat on all this stuff. And then start ripping that stuff out. Okay, reading through the instructions. First step, before we do any staining. The way these rails go on. No, I'll use that one. Okay. The way these rails go on, it's possible for water to get trapped in these grooves and cause issues. So they recommend, it's unfortunate they don't just do this, but every 12 inches to cut a notch in this little groove area so that water can drain out. I already tried one here. Again, it says every 12 inches. I'm using like the Dremel style or roto tool. This is actually, I think, a drywall bit. It says like a chisel or a handsaw, but that would take absolutely forever. I feel like a router bit, just going in here and just zipping it out. If you set your depth right, should be pretty straightforward. This seems to work pretty well because it's got a smooth end. Again, like I said, I believe this is for drywall. But basically when it gets down to that groove, it stops. And then I slightly angled it. I think it's burning it out more than anything, but we'll come back and sand this a little bit, just kind of clean it up. Again, this is just for water, and once these are in place, you won't actually see it anyway. So, a million little notches, then we're going to sand, stain, paint. Got all our grooves cut. Again, this is just for water runoff. Went over everything with 220 sandpaper, including just by hand through the grooves real quick. These I wiped all down with acetone. They're, again, bare metal. I want to make sure there's no oils and stuff on them. All the bolts, we stabbed a million holes just using a screwdriver. And while they were in the magnet trays, I hosed them all down with brake clean and blew them off with air. So hopefully those don't have any oils and stuff on them. Again, we're not going for perfect, just try to make it nice enough. She's getting ready to mix up the stain. And I think we're going to do 50-50. So 50% Jacobine, 50% ebony. Just using a standard mixing cup. This should have 1-to-1. It does. Probably just the 1 and the 1, right? We shouldn't need that much.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay. We're only going to stain the top because that's all you're going to see. Make sure and get down in the grooves because you can see the grooves a little bit. After all the stain is done, we're going to go back with polyurethane, basically. This will protect against water and seal the wood, and we'll do that top and bottom. So while she works on mixing on that, I'm going to start spray painting. Again, we're just using this cheapy black spray paint. As far as spray paint goes, I like to do a light coat, wait 10 minutes, do another light coat just for adhesion, and then go back to a medium wet coat. And she's making a mess already. All right, she's starting the first coat on here. You can see the slots are working. The stain's running out of it. This stuff's soaking it up pretty good, pretty quickly. It's probably going to need at least 2 coats. I don't remember how long does this stuff take to dry?
I don't remember.
No. We'll have to look in that. It'll probably take a couple coats to dry. And then poly is going to be 2 or 3 coats at least. And staining this stuff is probably going to be an all-day project. Try to get this first coat down and let it dry. We'll start working on tearing the old stuff out. All right, got all these coated. I think we're just going to stick with the 1 coat. A couple of these boards are a little bit lighter, like this one, and that one, and those 2. But I don't know if that's just variations in the wood or whatever. I don't think once it's all in there and the strips are in there, you're really going to notice it. All the bolts are painted. All the slats are painted, although there are a couple hazy spots. I ran out of paint, so I got to get a couple more cans. Probably give this 1 more light coat. Touch up a couple of the hazy spots. That needs 4 hours to dry, and then each coat of the poly takes 2 hours, I think. And depending on how many coats we put on there, like I said, this is going to take all day to actually coat. We'll have to keep coming back to it. So for now, I think we're going to turn our attention to trying to rip this crap out of here. And I'm sure all this hardware is going to come out easily, right? I'm probably going to have to go underneath, take out what hardware that will come out. The rest we'll have to grind the heads off or cut off wheel or whatever, which we can't do around the edges. That might get a little tricky because these These fenders are already pretty rough. But it is what it is. We're not replacing fenders. We're not replacing bedsides or any of that kind of stuff. So it is going to be how it's going to be. I think first we'll come in here with a shop vac real quick, get all the loose stuff, and then go underneath and see how lucky we are on how many bolts come out. All right, I don't think there's any way to do this other than just going for it, really. So I'm just going to start going around all these and see what comes out and what doesn't. That one doesn't. Actually, I think that's the wrong size. Hang on. Hold, please. Doesn't matter. Yeah. What about this one? Nope. Great. All right, well, that changes things drastically. I think these around the wheel well, I'm gonna have to cut off from underneath and then cut off everything from up top. I don't think there's another way to do it. Everything's just so rusty and worn out, and obviously the wood is swollen and contracted over time. So, cut off wheel. All right, watch your ears. That's gonna take forever. And it's gonna make a gigantic mess. Ow! Hot! Okay. I think I'm gonna go around with a punch and a hammer and knock those up.
Okay. Is that a dirt dauber nest?
Huh?
Is that a dirt dauber nest?
Yep. Okay, gonna knock those through, lower it back down, cut off all the bolts up top, see if we can get this wood out.
Yay!
Yay! Oh, okay. Guess I don't need a punch.
Good thing you got the hammer. Now they're being cooperative.
Yeah.
Next side?
Huh?
I said next side.
I don't know if you know this, but I can't hear you very well.
I can't hear anything.
Huh?
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 Exactly.
See, that's why I got the hammer. Okay,
Yeah?
down we go. That smells terrible.
Yep.
All right, that was a good time. Cutoff wheels don't like cutting through wood. Makes a lot of smoke, makes an obnoxious smell. But we got through it. Well, almost. We got one little piece there. This is what we ended up with. For the most part, the bed floor supports aren't too bad. This one is obviously pretty rough at that end. Somebody's already put a piece of angle iron in across the front. I'm assuming that's all rotted out. And then the very back is pretty rough. So this is the point where you would take the bed off the rest of the way and fix or repair or replace the inner fenders, the bottom of the bed sides, the supports, all that stuff. We're not doing any of that. It's not within our budget or our time frame. Again, this is just a work truck. We're just putting some lipstick on it. So from here, we're gonna go vacuum all this crap up. I've got a bunch of these little studs to cut off the rest of the way and knock out and all that stuff. Vacuum this stuff, sweep up the floor, all that kind of stuff. And then we still got a ways on our wood planks. We still got a little while before you start the poly, and then every coat of poly needs 2 hours to dry. So, and then unfortunately we got to poly the bottom side too, which is going to be a task because we got to wait for everything to dry and at least put one coat on the bottom to seal it. So from here we got some errands to run. We're going to clean this up a little bit and probably pick this up tomorrow. All right, it's the next day. Came out this morning, flipped all these over. These all have 2 coats of clear on the back or polyurethane. And it's time to start putting this stuff into place. She was up there kind of cleaning some stuff up, so I made her stay. Probably going to start with these front corner pieces. I didn't realize that this bed actually sits on the wood. The bed is just kind of sitting here. So I think we're going to put the 4 corners in and then probably the 2 center. And then we'll use the center wherever they line up to the holes to then run our other boards off of. If that makes any kind of sense. Is that still a bolt sticking through?
Yeah.
Need a hammer and a punch? All right. All the way forward. We'll have to adjust it finally. Huh? Okay, get it under here. You coming?
Good. This has 2 holes here. These don't line up. These ones do. Oh, never mind.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5.
You come do.
Yeah. I have a feeling we're going to be drilling quite a few holes. I'll grab that one in a second. Can you see through there, or is there a hole there?
Yeah.
Alright, well, I'll figure this out as we go. Okay. I just want to get the two centers in. That's going to give us our reference, I think. There's no guarantee that these are punched in the exact right spot either. Should be that side. I may have to lift the bed again. This one's on it. This one's on. Let me go lift. All gonna be moved a little bit anyway. All right, now we'll do the two wheel well ones. Should be able to get the two wheel well ones in, lay the other ones in place, and then line them up off the center. Trying to go back if I can. Snug fit. That's fine. They're all going to have to be adjusted.
It's on my toe. This one, we should be able to put right next to the center, and we put a rail in. You want the other side? Fine. Oh, I thought you meant this one.
Doesn't matter. I'll go under the back first. I might have already. You're gonna have to open that up a little bit.
Gonna be my next job.
A little too much. this side this way. All right, now it's this one.
So the hole for that one right there. At a really big angle. I feel like it should be this way some.
All right, what we're running into, so you can see how that gap's pretty wide. That one's really narrow. Those are both narrow. Those are fairly narrow. Those are fairly wide. It got to this end and it didn't really line up. So I think there's supposed to be more of a gap between these. There's no instructions with this at all. The only instructions were for staining the wood. No installation whatsoever. So I have a feeling it's supposed to have this gap like that, which means we're gonna have to adjust this board over just till it lines up and kind of do the same with the rest of them. And just kind of keep fiddling. This is not very, it's going to be tedious is my point. So I think we're just going to play with this and see how it goes. Try to get some bolt holes lined up. Some, they all line up, but like some of these are at a little bit of an angle. This row doesn't actually line up at all. They added the angle iron in the front, so there's nothing there. And then we have to drill the wood all the way around. But I want to get the center slats in place first before we do the outside at all. So we're going to kind of tinker with this and see if we can get stuff to line up a little better. Okay, battery ran out, sorry, but we spent a little time messing with this. I think we got everything kind of in place. Some slight adjustments here and there, but I think what we're going to do, some of these bolts don't really line up, and that may be manufacturing, that may be who knows. You see all of these are angled to reach the holes. This row doesn't line up at all. So I think I'm going to put this up in the air, tighten down, put hardware and tighten down the very back. And then all but the front one, the next one up here, this row. And then wherever the middle lies is where the middle lies. If we can tighten these down and they're not at too much of an angle, then great. These we're going to have to drill for sure. But we need to get the entire center tightened down before we mess with the outside. The bed is shifted, the front of the bed is shifted that way just a hair. So I want to get these kind of snugged up before we mess with that too much. Hopefully we can get it straight before we drill all the outside holes. That takes the bigger hardware. So all along these edges where there is a hole, we're going to put the bigger hardware in, but we want to get it adjusted first. Make sense?
Yeah.
Having fun?
So much.
So much fun. All right. Hardware across the back, hardware across the front. Tighten down all the center the best we can.
I'm going for red.
Drill a bunch of holes. When you're supporting your rear bumper, do you use a lawnmower blade? Problem I'm running into is this this plate here is right in my way in order to get to the hardware that is there and there. So I think I might try loosening up the bolts on the bumper, and those are going to snap off, and see if this will sag down enough that I can get in there. That's going to be a pain in the neck, but let's give it a try. It moved, but I don't know that it helped me any. It might have. Don't know how to do this. I don't really want to mess with these bolts because they're just going to break for sure. If I can get it started, I think I can figure it out from there, but getting it started isn't going to be easy either, especially when I'm dropping all the hardware.
Don't do that.
What?
I said, don't throw that.
Okay. Please start. Please. Please don't fall. It's not working. Hey, I got it. No. All right, that's one. All right, this is kind of the headache I'm dealing with. Trying to get up within this rail here is kind of a pain. That one's going to be a pain as well. And probably that one and probably all the rest of them. So we're going to move to the front one. Try to tighten those ones down. And then work our way to the middle. All right, back row is all tight. Second row is all tight. The very front row needs to go into this angle iron. None of that's drilled. That's all welded to the front of the bed. I did take a minute to kind of even the bed up. It was shifted to the one side. So I think we're going to drill the holes through this angle iron across the front. Get those bolts in and tighten down. Might as well drill this row as well that doesn't line up to anything. We got a couple in here that don't quite line up. We'll have to drill those up, and then we can finish all this 1/4 inch hardware in the middle. And then we'll have to drill the wood around the edges where there is a place to actually bolt it. Some of these are pretty much rotten and gone, but it is what it is. So drill those, put those in, drill those, put those in, tighten all the center up so we're done with that. And then we can do the perimeter with the bigger hardware. And we should be done, I think. We're not going to use all the outside hardware. It's just the way it is. I mean, some of this stuff's just so rotten. Like there's obviously a bolt hole there and there. There should be one there. I imagine that was one. Sorry, the shadow. That was one. That was one. Not going to do anything. There was probably one at the front over here. Same on that side. There's only a couple. Back here, we'll try to put a bolt in there. It's pretty well rotted out. That corner's missing some. Anyway, look, you can see the side of that fender, inner fender. We're going to put in what hardware we can. Like I said, before this wood ever went in, all these repairs should have been done, but not in this vehicle. Are you drilling?
I'm right here, okay.
Yay. Try to go straight if you can.
Jesus.
Before you move too far, you might as well do this way too. All right, got 1, 2, 3, 4 rows done, plus the back makes 5. I believe there's 10 total. It's a lot of reaching over your head and working around frame rails and exhaust and drive shaft and all that stuff. Remember at the beginning of the video when I said it's mostly prep work? Not so much. We're muscling through. It's a little bit tedious, a little bit of a pain in the butt, but that's all right. It's worth noting the center couple rows here don't have a brace that they go through, so they get a bigger flat washer. Where's the easy spot? No easy spots. All right, they get a flat washer like that, and then a lock washer and nut. Same with I believe all the big bolts around the side are that way as well. They don't actually go into a metal brace. So we're gonna push through, get all these center bolts done so we can drill all the wood for the outside bolts and call it a night. That beer fridge is empty and I'm getting frustrated. All right, so next day, stayed out and buttoned up all the center bolts last night. Got all that done. I came out this morning and did all the perimeter bolts. There's really no reason to have you watch me drill a million holes and put a bunch of bolts in and all that. So I'd rather just skip ahead and show you the final product. And I think it turned out fantastic. I really like how the dark wood looks with the black slats. I do apologize, it's still dirty, I haven't wiped it out. I just blew it out with the air hose real quick. I put in what perimeter bolts I could get in. Obviously there's sections and stuff missing. It turned out really well. Probably not the route I would have went, being that this is supposed to be a work truck and used. I probably would have just did 1-bys like what was in here before and painted them or just cleared them, just a cheaper wood. But this does look fantastic. It's unfortunate how rough the bed is. I think if we painted the inside metal all black or something, or hit it with the like spray on bed liner stuff, if it was all one color, I think it would look a lot better. A couple unfortunate things. This row, all the bolts are angled back a little bit. The same with quite a few of them in this row. The rest of them seem to go in fine. I don't know if the brace is a little twisted or if these aren't punched exactly correct. So I'll probably have to pull all these out and re-drill them, unfortunately, which is a headache. But I don't want to have to try to slide something in and hit the head bolts. It'd be kind of a pain. Realistically, this needs packing blanket or a chunk of cardboard or something down if she's really going to be sliding stuff in here a lot, because I wouldn't want to damage this floor. Again, not what I would have chose, but it does look really, really good. It's a whole lot better than what was in here before that I almost stuck my foot through a few times. So that being said, I think that's it for this video, and I think that's it for the project completely. I've got a few little things to do. We put the grill and all that stuff in the previous video. I still got to adjust the headlights. That tire's losing air. A couple little things like that that's not really video worthy, obviously. So yeah, tell me what you think of this project. It's been fun. It's been really cool working on somebody else's budget. That's kind of neat. And I think it turned out really well. So now we need to give it back to her. Let her enjoy it for many, 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 many years. Hopefully, if she wants some other stuff done, she'll bring it back to us. So with all that being said, thank you very, very much for watching. I appreciate it very much. If you've been following along with this this pickup, I appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Leave me a comment. I do read them all as best I can and respond as best I can. And I'm excited to give her this truck back. Other than that, boss lady's not out here to tell you thanks for hanging out, so I'll do it for her. And we will see you guys next time.